You're already in a unique position where your content creation could push esports, and that's awesome. But we've had some other grassroots esports achieve similar, I guess, results. But then very few of them have the publisher come back and be like, actually, we kind of like you guys. Usually when they're
Yeah.
gone, they're gone. And not only has Microsoft come back to give you an actual good edition, definitive edition, they're still producing content. They're like still
Mhm.
producing expansions and DLCs. I think they're even still doing stuff for Age of Empires 3, which from my perspective, no one plays. Do you think that you're in the most unique position for that? Are you appreciative of that Microsoft came back? And do you think other publishers could have the same feeling where they're like, oh, maybe we shouldn't have given up on this thing. Maybe we should come back and make it better.
Yeah, Smash Bros. Melee represent. Maybe
Yeah.
Nintendo needs to stop shutting down all their events.
Yeah, I was
Um,
definitely thinking of that.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, Melee is a game that I think we have a lot in common with. Yeah, I feel blessed to be in a position like that because we have a lot of the sway, right? And we've been in positions where people are willing to offer us money for stuff, but they have a caveat, and we don't want to do that, so we just say no. Or we say, well, no, we're not doing that, but you're going to give us the money anyway. And then we'll just do it our own way, right? A lot of our tournaments, it's very, very rare to have a big production company. It's very, very rare to have um, a company come from outside. Red Bull was really the exception to everything. And we'll probably talk about the Wallaloo events later. But uh, usually Microsoft just gives streamers money to host a tournament,
Oh.
and then they go and host it. So, for example, they gave me 25,000 to host a tournament in January coming up with my friend T90 Official. They've given him $50,000 multiple times in the past. They gave MemTV, another streamer, 75,000 in November to do a tournament. So it's just kind of like they know that they don't want to spend that excess cash on a production company or anything, and it's far better for them to just give the money to the streamer who already has the audience, already has the scenes, already has contact with the players and everything, and can just pay a tournament admin out of their pocket, and then they keep the prize pool basically at the same amount that the company contributed. So it's a very, I feel really blessed, like I said before, to be in this position. And I know from talking to other people like Riley Knight, I don't know if you know who he is. He's a Magic commentator,
Mm.
has also branched out to some other games. When I was talking to him when we worked together in the past, he was amazed at the amount of sway that we have and the amount of input that we get into events. And if we don't want to do something, we're just not. If we don't feel like it's good for the community, we're just not doing it,
That
basically.
is a unique position to be in. There are so many other sponsors and companies that like they they like the idea of giving money to someone to do all the work, but
Yeah.
then they still require it to be like on a specific channel, usually a new channel that no one's followed, and then they're like, why didn't we get as many views as this other tournament that was on this well-established channel? And then you have to explain to them how Twitch and streaming works, and it just it really could be as simple for I think a lot of esports as what you're talking about, but very rarely you're gonna get that from the publisher. As my cat makes himself comfortable in all my equipment.
It's
So
like the focus group meeting guy, It's like, yeah, we love how natural you are. We love it. Can you just change a few things along
yeah,
the way? Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. It is. It's can be really annoying, but it sounds like Microsoft is being kind of the I guess the best case of a publisher like not totally controlling, because that's what happened in StarCraft at one point. Blizzard came in and like kind of got rid of a lot of the grassroots and said we're going to make this tournament, and as opposed to making it kind of align with the grassroots community, it kind of just devoured it. And then when Blizzard was like we don't care anymore, we were like, okay, so you just leave. And that's always a fear of any esport that is primarily like publisher developer backed. So one
Mhm.
day they just could be like, it's not making as much money. Like goodbye. It's terrifying, really. But some of the more successful ones, Microsoft with Age of Empires, with thinking also of I think Mortal Kombat has a circuit now where the publisher just came in, gave them money, and said also run all these things, just add points to the circuit, and then you'll fight for like our tournament. And I was like, that's also a pretty good way of doing it. So truly unique position. Sounds like Microsoft is really, I guess, elevating themselves in the public's eye, actually, where Age of Empires 4 might not be the perfect game, and I guess I'm going to get your opinions on Age of Empires 4. Even that seems to be really elevating people's perception of Microsoft, that they're still investing into RTS, and that they're still, by people's perception, of course, I mean mostly the RTS genre and community, which feel starved for more content, but
Yeah,
still.
we're the lonely kid in class for
Yeah.
sure. Yeah,
Yeah, but still,
yeah.
it's really nice to see that Microsoft's doing it. Do you, do you have now fond, I guess, feelings about Microsoft and the publisher? Do you trust them to actually develop a scene in Age of Empires 2 and Age of Empires 4, or is it just still more complicated than that?
Uh, there's a Winston Churchill quote that I love. When he was talking about the Americans, he said, "You can always trust the Americans to do the right thing after they've exhausted every
Ah,
possible
yes.
alternative," right? And
Yes.
that is, I trust Microsoft to do the right thing eventually after they've
Okay.
seen that the other things don't work. So a lot of the distrust from us comes from them shutting down MSN Gaming Zone when it was still popular. That's way back in the day. That's 2005. I still don't trust them for that, right? And then releasing AoE2 HD, which at the end of the day brought a lot of players back, but was a pure cash grab. It was not as good as the original game,
Hmm.
which was made in 2000 or 1999, I guess, if you want to go down to Age of Kings. It was laggy. The graphics that they added weren't that much better. You couldn't even spectate games, which we had with a user patch we'd made in 2010. So there was a lot of features missing, and a lot of the distrust from me and from a lot of our other community members comes from that and the subsequent expansions they released. Now, DE was a good game, but it took months for it to be a good game.
Okay.
We had the servers, which is great because it's no longer peer to peer, which was, even the best games had a second or two of input lag because of that, because you're literally going across the world if you're playing with someone from Australia
Hmm.
and sending your signal over to their PC, right? But there was still a lot of errors, a lot of bugs, and a lot of things to be worked out with the definitive edition. And it's taken us time, and the game is in a fantastic state now, and they're continuing support. So I trust them in terms of AoE 2. In terms of AoE 4, I foresee there being a similar time period. And I'm not sure what to think about the company developing AoE 4 Relic, because there was a lot of things pointed out early that are still in the game that are not optimal,
Not
I would
great. Yeah.
say. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.